Well, I don't know how to take this. So I want to be preemptive here. This is not, I want to emphasize, not about defending Render's record, which is, to put it mildly, really mixed. Let me just back up for the new people who may just be like, okay, I'm kind of interested in true crime, kind of interested in Scientology. So the basic narrative was that Mike Rinder left in the late 2000s. And if you want to become a channel member, we're going to get more into the deep, dark secrets. So he left in the late 2000s, the official church, and began being an independent Scientologist. Did that for a little bit and became more of an activist and worked with Lely and some Hollywood people. So there was a split between the anti Scientologist and ex Scientologist that it was becoming a little too elite oriented. Now, this is where it gets really bizarre and strange because technically Jenna Miscavige is part of that elite circle. But apparently, she felt left out and feels that Rinder wronged her. So I am calling Jenna a liar because she is literally lying. Um, it's actually, I mean, the lying here it works at three levels. It's pretty astonishing. And again, the point here is not to defend Rinder, but like, wait, what are we talking about? Because again, this is just something that the ex Scientologists have done over and over again. And listen, I'm saying this from personal experience. They really manipulate information to control you. So this is really sinister, but it is normal. So I do want to be fair to Jenna that this discourse now is so corrupt that it's normalized. So this is just another day in the park. However, she was part of this corruption process. So she's not innocent. She's not the worst. This isn't even the most egregious, but it's still very alarming. So she, in a recent video, says she's not going to be working with other ex Scientologists because she feels betrayed by them. Okay, whatever. You work with whoever you want to work. The problem is usually twofold. One is she's working with Aaron very actively, even though Aaron has been exposed as a very abusive bully and a pathological liar. So that kind of destroys all her credibility. But the other is the invocation of children, which happens a lot. Now, by children, they don't literally mean children or even children in Scientology. They mean themselves, which with Aaron's case, yes, he did grow up in Scientology, but as far as we can tell, there's no case where he was literally abused. Aaron did claim that as a 17-year-old. Again, I'm going from memory. I want to be careful. He was beat up by a much older Scientologist, but again, I don't think he ever provided proof of that. And Jenna too was technically physically abused, but she never suffered, a case of SA, as far as we know. And she always enjoyed a lot of privileges because, again, she's a Miscavige, and she's kind of minimized that she did get a lot of special rights and privileges. But there you go. So she's trying to get revenge on these Hollywood people for not paying her money. Whatever, I don't care. I can't even really use anything by her because she's probably going to do a copyright strike because that's what she tries to do. She tries to destroy and cancel and censor information while claiming it's bad when the church does it. Right? The Church of Scientology does it. That's bad. When Jenna Miscavige in the Church of Uranus does it, that's good. Well, there he goes. But I want to be precise here, so I don't want to go too far from the meaning of her words because it's critical we really know what happened here. Um, and again, I will say again, not defending Rinder, this is not really a Rinder scandal. It's adjacent. And again, if you want to condemn him, that's fine. But it's sort of like this isn't really even a thing. Because again, one thing you know about Iran is a pretty evil propagandist. If he has something on you, he's going to use it forever. I mean, forever. So before they were saying Rinder wasn't technically guilty of child abuse, technically. However, they were saying he was actively helping the predators. And to my knowledge, there is one strong case from the 1990s, but that's not what she's talking about. She's talking about some other case, and there's really nothing there. In fact, the way she's wording it isn't just a lie, it's a demonstrable lie. In fact, it's a triple lie. So her setup is in the last 2 years, and that's critical because you wonder, like, well, why didn't Jenna do something? Oh, it's only discovered in the last 2 years. That's the Aaron narrative. It's like, really, in the last 2 years, we discovered he was the former head of OSA. Right, only in the last 2 years. Okay, that's a complete lie. But this is, again, to be fair to Aaron, this is the claim that thousands of documents were withheld from him, and he was trying to help the victims, which is a lie too, but okay, fine, that's the lie. In the last 2 years, these documents were discovered. Okay, fine, so be it. And these were thousands of documents, and they were withheld, and they showed his involvement in covering up the SA. I mean, several problems with this. I mean, if he's any competent OSA agent, pathological liar, deep cover CIA agent, why would he hold on to documents that prove he's guilty? That's just stupid. That don't make any sense. And also, when she showed something, because really, this is just a chart. Okay, do you have any evidence? Uh, no, the evidence actually doesn't prove what you're saying. In fact, it was really weird. So they flashed something on the screen. I don't know why they did this. So did Render redact the document or did they? It's literally like only a part of it is visible and the rest is just blurry. Why is it blurry? Right? This is not an issue of libel or slander. If these are facts, if these are demonstrable facts, you can't be sued, right? And Jenna has money, so that was just strange. So it could just be they're being incompetent presenting the evidence. So let's get to it. So what did they show? Well, it's a little confusing. So she claims in the last 16 years, Render held back this information on this person. And again, it's YouTube, so I still have to say this. Allegedly, that James Barber, he's a Broadway singer, that Barber, the Broadway singer, was guilty of assault of these victims, right? But then we do the same double checking. Render did an article in 2014 about Barber, but she said in the last 16 years, the documents were held back. And I mean, I get it. She's just doing stupid propaganda for Aaron, but like that doesn't make any sense. So you've literally demonstrably lied on two levels. So it's like, that's not good. Okay, but still you can say, okay, is Render genuinely guilty here? Well, all it says is that Render basically told Barber goes to some lawyers, and the lawyers did the covering up. I mean, again, you can condemn Render. I mean, the problem is he just did this as a matter of course. Like we kind of knew this already. Like it's like, oh, if somebody called him about a legal issue, say, okay, talk to our lawyers. I mean, I hate to be brutal, but nowadays they can have an AI computer do that, right? Ex celebrity in Scientology says, okay, what do I got to do? Talk to our lawyers. And that's it. So the documents show that Rinder was a part of this crime. No. Does it even show that he actually even did the crime? I mean, he says something happened, these incidents happened, and he's really nervous. And they're like, okay, you're gonna talk to our lawyers and we're gonna handle it that way. Okay. So, is there a cover up? Well, there can't be a cover up because Rinder talked about these things. He talked about them in 2014. In fact, the Barber issue became an issue because Rinder talked about it, right? He's a source for this information. So, I guess what Jen is really trying to say is he held back documents that made him look bad. He did talk about this issue, but he made himself look too good, right? He could have been more brutally honest. Okay, that's fair, but that's not technically the cover up. A cover up would be you destroy all the evidence, you get rid of all your involvement, and you claim nothing happened. He didn't do that. Render did something else. I mean, he framed it deceptively, but he didn't technically cover it up. I mean, a cover up is a cover up. A cover up is, we don't talk about the crime or it never gets to the public light. But it did get to the public light. So that's confusing. And that's it. She just showed that for that insane accusation. She showed one document that's fuzzy. That's it. You're like, that's it? Really? That's a lot to condemn someone. And that would be fair, but Jenna and Aaron have done the same thing and have done a lot worse. They've actively covered up tons of crimes. They don't care. So you're like, what exactly is the issue? I don't know. I mean, from her argument, which is filled with deception, I'm not quite clear what we're supposed to make of it. I guess when Render's being deceptive, that's bad because this is a very alarming issue. Right, that could be the case, but Jenna literally walked away for over a decade. She just didn't help anybody, right? She just did stuff behind the scenes. But as far as I know, on these cases, she just didn't help. She didn't care. In fact, she did a video where she says, actively, I will only care about what I care about. She literally said that from her own mouth. So it's like, you don't care about this issue anyway. And that's what I mean. They don't care about children. They are only invoking child victims to fit their narrative. The child victims onto themselves, they don't really care. They don't even care about James Barber. Also, what Jenna doesn't even bother to include is Barber was arrested. He even served some time. So literally, this is not a case of like, oh, the victims got no justice. They got little justice, but they did get justice. there are even performative issues here. We'll say, well, who cares? The point is, we find the predator, we attack the predator. Yeah, we shouldn't care if Aaron or Rinder lied. The point is to get the predator. No, this really does matter because it's like this thing does not make any sense by their own standard. So let me just play this, and it's gonna shock people. Like, wait, huh?
What's the Church of Scientology so afraid of? This is SPTV.
And by the way, this is a serious issue, so I'm not going to be joking. But that makes no sense. So yeah, that was a clip or snippet that a lot of the SPTV channels used to use. That's Lily's voice, challenging the church. Now the claim is that Lily and Rinder covered this up, right? But Aaron did a video 2 years ago on Barber. Now, unfortunately, being very cruel and being brutal, was it through his own great journalism detective work? No, obviously he got the information from Lily and Rinder. He's even playing Lily's voice. But Jenna's saying, it's very alarming, guys. In the last 2 years, these documents, I discovered something, and they were covering it up. Well, if they were covering it up, but Aaron did the video based on their information, and he is using her voice sample, none of this makes any sense. Like, you're like, wait, but you said they were covering it up. How would he be doing the reporting if they covered it up? Where did he get the information from? Again, I'm not claiming that Lily or Winder were not deceptive, right? I mean, there's deception going all around here, but that's insane because these timelines don't mesh up. So did Aaron go like, "Oh, oh my God, James Robert, the evil of Rinder"? No, no, he just used the Rinder information to make money on a video, and literally that one image that Jenna used to attack Rinder is also in Aaron's video. So you don't have to be a rocket science here. That yeah, Aaron is just passing this info to Jenna and framing it as, "Oh, this proves he's guilty." But that's not the focus of the video. I mean, apparently, if we're covering things up, the video should be that he's exposing Rinder and Barber, but he didn't do that. He's saying that Barber was guilty, and the guilt goes to Barber. I mean, the punchline here would be we're just lost in a mess of propaganda. But being good faith and trying to listen to Jenna, it seems really what's going on here is you have a personal issue with Rinder, which is true that there were these OSA operations against her, trying to basically annoy her and destroy her marriage, and Rinder was a part of that, and she wants revenge, which is all well and good. I don't care. But if you're going to invoke child victims and such a serious subject, presumably we're going to focus on that. But that's not really the focus because the problem is that's it's the complete opposite, right? I mean, did Rinder victimize Jen as a child? In a tangential sense, but so did Aaron. Aaron wasn't trying to save Jenna. He didn't care about James Barber, so basically all the responsibility and guilt goes to Rinder, none goes to her or Aaron. Because we say so. Okay, so you could have just said, here's my propaganda video about my propaganda making me look good and they look bad. Nice. So why are we invoking child victims? I don't know. I guess you gotta make money somehow. So let's grift off genuine victims of child predators for Jenna's ego or money. And there you go. Sad.